Nicole. I'm a tea writer and educator, and I'm here to help you learn more about tea. A few days ago, I broke my favorite bottle for cold brewing tea, and I ordered some replacements, so I thought it was a perfect chance to show you guys my favorite way of cold brewing, as well as kind of a bit of a how-to on how to cold brew. So cold brewing is one of my favorite ways to make tea, especially in the summer. It's incredibly easy. You don't need any hot water at all. All you're gonna do is put the leaves in water, stick it in the fridge for a few hours, and you've got yourself some really great iced tea. One of the advantages of brewing tea this way is because you're not using hot water, there's no bitterness that comes out of the tea leaves. It can also make the taste of the tea sweeter for the same reason. So these are my favorite tool for doing that. You can certainly use almost any kind of container. I do recommend glass over plastic because plastic, you can kind of taste that in the tea, and some people like to avoid plastic anyway. And you want to make sure that it has a way to, like some kind of lid or way to seal the container, but otherwise you can use just about anything. That being said, these Hario filter-in bottles, I'm going to put a link to them in the description so that you can check them out. They cost about $25 depending on where you're getting it from and what size and what color. First of all, I really love the look of them. They can look like a super fancy wine bottle, which is really fun when you have guests, that it always kind of is a great conversation starter or an attention getter. The main advantage of using these is that there is a filter built into the lid. It's totally removable. That part is plastic, but it's not really in contact with the tea other than when you're pouring. So that's totally removable so that it's easy to clean. And then the lid itself is silicone. So that's like really soft, but it is sturdy. The bottom part is glass. So that being said, that is the part that I broke on my old one. Totally not the fault of the product though. I have ceramic tile floors, and if you drop anything, it's going to shatter into a million pieces, and you will never ever be able to clean up all of the glass. So the one I had before was green like this one, but I did always find myself wanting to be able to have another tea available in the fridge, especially now that summer is here. So I also picked up a red one while I was at it. They do come in a few other colors as well as like different styles. I kind of prefer this one though. They also have one that looks like a champagne bottle, or ones where the lid is a clear plastic. So I'm going to grab some tea and water, that way I can show you how to use them. So for any kind of tea that you make, you want to start with the best kind of water possible. So I've got my trusty Brita filter here, as I try to filter all of my tea water, as that kind of takes out all of the chlorine and chemicals that might be in your tap water. My tap water is fairly high quality, so that's all I have to do, but that can vary depending on where you live. Now, one of my favorite things about cold brewing is that you really can't get it wrong. Generally, you're going to use about double the amount of tea leaves that you would for brewing hot. Because you're not using hot water, the leaves do extract more slowly, but you really can't get it wrong. Hario's directions for this particular bottle say to use about 15 grams of leaves. So generally, honestly, I really don't weigh it. I'll just kind of eyeball it. For the most part, like if you've covered the bottom in a thin layer, that's pretty much a good indicator. You don't want to use too much tea, but I find that that's kind of like a good sweet spot. So they have kind of markers on the bottle here. They're just white dots. So the top dot is 750 milliliters, so basically the same volume that a bottle of wine would have. And you're just going to pour your tea on top, or your water, I'm sorry. Alright, so then all you have to do is put your lid on. I do find that it helps to take the cap off sometimes if you're having trouble getting your lid on. Sometimes there might be some air trapped in there. But basically that is all you need to do to make cold brew tea. As the tea brews, it's going to settle to the bottom. And so right before you serve it or pour it out, it can help to kind of swirl it around a little bit gently just to kind of stir them up and get all of that delicious flavor into your cup. And when you do pour, you can just pour right through that top there because that filter is going to stop all of the tea leaves. moves. Every tea is a little bit different as far as how long you'll need to brew for. Generally, I'll set it up before I go to bed. That way, I'm not watching the clock, waiting for my tea, but then when I wake up, I have delicious cold brew iced tea waiting for me. Every tea is a little bit different, as I said, but generally about 3 to 6 hours is going to get you full flavor, but you can certainly leave it longer than that. This particular tea is a Jun Chayabari First Flush. So it's a black tea, but it is on the lighter end of the spectrum, so it doesn't take too long to get the full flavor. For teas that are tightly rolled, like oolongs, or even like a compressed pour, I recommend kind of just giving the leaves a super quick rinse with hot water first before you put them into cold brew, as that'll just help them open up a little bit more. You can also kind of rebrew the leaves depending on the tea and how long you've had it brewing for. June is iced tea month, so I'll be making a few more videos as we go through the month. Definitely make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of those. So for this one, since we already have a black tea, I think I'm going to do a green tea. So this is a Korean Sejak, which is like their kind of second flush green tea, and it comes out really, really nice cold brewed. Cold brewing can be especially good for green tea because it doesn't allow any of that bitterness to come out of the tea. It's evening right now, so I'm going to put these in the fridge, and in the morning I'll have 2 different delicious iced teas to choose from. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy cold brewing and if you've used these Hario tea bottles before. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.